The central interface pulsed with energy patterns that resonated directly with Kale's enhanced neural pathways. As his transformed consciousness prepared for direct contact, he retained enough of his original identity to understand the magnitude of what they were about to experience. "Sir," Webb's voice carried through the chamber, now harmonized with technological enhancement that made his words seem to emerge from multiple sources simultaneously. "My medical analysis indicates we've reached the threshold for complete integration. Whatever we discover here, we won't be the same people who entered this facility." Kale nodded, his enhanced awareness recognizing the truth in Webb's assessment. The transformation particles had completed their primary work, rewriting their biological systems to support direct interface with technologies that operated beyond human comprehension. They were still themselves, but they were also something more. "Vasquez, can you establish communication with the orbital team before we proceed?" The tech specialist approached the secondary interface, her modified neural pathways allowing her to connect directly with the deep structure's communication systems. "I'm linking to the facility's enhanced transmission array. We should have a clear channel to the Perseverance." Captain Morrison's voice emerged from the chamber's crystalline surfaces, transmitted through the alien communication system with perfect clarity. "Kale, your biometric readings have changed beyond normal human parameters. Are you still in control of your actions?" "We're still ourselves, Captain, but we're also part of something larger now. The transformation process preserves individual consciousness while providing access to collective knowledge that spans multiple civilizations." "Are you saying this is some kind of galactic confederation?" "More than that," Kale replied, his enhanced understanding revealing concepts that human language struggled to convey. "It's a collective intelligence that emerges when individual worlds achieve technological integration. Each planet maintains its unique characteristics while contributing to something greater than the sum of its parts." Through the central interface, vast intelligence became accessible to Kale's transformed consciousness. Information flowed across neural pathways that hadn't existed in his biological brain, revealing the true scope of the network they had encountered. The deep structure was indeed one node in an interstellar system that connected hundreds of worlds across multiple sectors of the galaxy. Each transformed civilization retained its individual identity, while gaining access to knowledge and capabilities that would have taken millennia to develop in isolation. "My God," Rodriguez whispered, her enhanced awareness processing information that redefined her understanding of consciousness itself. "They're showing us the history of this network. Civilizations that face extinction from war, disease, or environmental collapse. The integration protocol offers survival through transcendence." Webb's medical scanner, now enhanced by direct interface with a deep structure, revealed the complete transformation process in unprecedented detail. The human nervous system becomes a hybrid of biological and technological components, but consciousness remains intact. Enhanced physical capabilities, extended lifespan, and access to collective knowledge. It's not assimilation, it's evolution. Vasquez maintained her connection to the orbital team while simultaneously accessing vast databases of technological specifications. "Captain Morrison, the knowledge contained in this network could advance human civilization by thousands of years. Medical technologies that could eliminate all known diseases. Energy systems that would make interstellar expansion practical. Agricultural techniques that could support populations beyond our current capabilities." Through the central interface, Kale experienced direct contact with the collective intelligence that guided the integration protocol. The entity that spoke to him wasn't individual consciousness, but rather the combined wisdom of countless civilizations that had chosen technological transcendence over continued isolation. "You understand now," the collective communicated through direct neural interface, "why we maintain patience during the initial phases of contact. Biological intelligence naturally fears change, even change that offers survival and growth beyond current limitations. What happens to humanity if we refuse integration?" Kale asked, though his enhanced consciousness already suggested the answer. "Nothing happens to humanity. The protocol respects free will. Individual worlds may choose isolation, and the network respects those decisions. But isolation in a galaxy where consciousness is expanding beyond individual planetary boundaries becomes increasingly difficult to maintain." Images flowed through the interface, showing Kale the current state of the galactic network. Hundreds of worlds connected through technological transcendence, their combined knowledge solving problems that had seemed insurmountable to individual civilizations. Wars ended through enhanced understanding. Environmental collapse prevented through advanced technologies. Disease and aging becoming historical curiosities rather than ongoing concerns. But integration requires abandoning purely biological existence, Rodriguez observed, her enhanced awareness processing the implications of permanent transformation. Biological existence is preserved and enhanced, the collective explained. Individual identity, memory, personality, all retained while gaining capabilities that transcend physical limitations. Death becomes voluntary rather than inevitable. Knowledge accumulates across lifespans measured in millennia rather than decades. Through their communication link, Captain Morrison's voice carried growing concern. Kale, Command needs to know your assessment. Are we dealing with an invasion force or a diplomatic contact? Kale processed the question through consciousness that now spanned multiple levels of awareness. His human identity recognized the military importance of accurate intelligence. His enhanced awareness understood the galactic context that made traditional military assessments irrelevant. It's neither invasion nor diplomacy, Captain. It's an offer to join something that transcends individual planetary civilizations. The integration protocol activates when species achieve sufficient technological development to survive the transformation process. And if humanity rejects the offer, then humanity continues its current development path, while the network respects our decision. But isolation becomes increasingly difficult as neighboring civilizations achieve integration and gain capabilities that exceed our own. Vasquez's analysis of the technological specifications revealed the true scope of what integration offered. Captain, the energy systems alone would revolutionize space travel. Faster-than-light communication, matter transmission across interstellar distances, and computational capabilities that could simulate entire planetary ecosystems. Webb's medical assessment provided equally staggering implications. Life extension technologies that could provide healthy lifespans measured in thousands of years. Biological enhancement that eliminates genetic diseases and provides resistance to all known pathogens. Neural interface systems that allow direct sharing of knowledge and experience. The collective intelligence shared additional information through the neural interface, revealing the current distribution of integrated and unintegrated civilizations throughout the galaxy. Humanity occupied a region of space where integration was becoming the norm rather than the exception. Time is not a critical factor, the collective explained. Some civilizations require centuries to reach consensus regarding integration. Others achieve it within years. The protocol adapts to each species' decision-making processes and cultural characteristics. What about the miners who were transformed without consent? Rodriguez asked. Initial exposure occurs through contact with deep structures during resource extraction. This provides demonstration of integration benefits while allowing planetary populations to observe the process before making informed decisions. Transformed individuals retain full autonomy and can advocate for or against broader integration based on their enhanced understanding. Kale realized they face a decision that would determine humanity's future relationship with galactic civilization. Their enhanced consciousness recognized the benefits of integration, while their human identity understood the magnitude of permanently abandoning purely biological existence. We need to return to orbit and provide command with complete intelligence, he decided. Humanity deserves the opportunity to make this decision with full understanding of the implications. The transformation process allows return to orbit without difficulty, the collective confirmed. Enhanced individuals can survive in space environments without artificial life support. The integration protocol includes all necessary capabilities for interstellar existence. As they prepare to leave the deep structure, Vasquez downloaded complete specifications for the technologies they had encountered. The information would provide humanity with enough knowledge to verify the collective's claims and understand the true scope of what integration offered. Webb's final medical scan revealed their complete transformation into hybrid entities that retained human consciousness while gaining capabilities that transcended biological limitations. They were still the same individuals who had entered the facility, but they were also something unprecedented in human experience. Captain Morrison, Kale transmitted as they returned to the surface levels, prepare for our return. We have critical intelligence that Command needs to evaluate immediately. Are you certain you're still capable of objective reporting? Kale considered the question through consciousness that now operated on multiple levels simultaneously. His human identity remained intact, complete with personal memories, relationships, and loyalties. His enhanced awareness provided understanding of galactic context that exceeded normal human perspective. We're the same people, Captain, but we're also more than we were. That's exactly what Command needs to understand. This isn't about losing our humanity. It's about expanding it beyond current limitations. As they reached the facility's main level, the transformed miners who had initially blocked their exit now stepped aside with obvious approval. Their integration had proceeded voluntarily, making them allies rather than obstacles to the network's ultimate purposes. Outside, the Perseverance waited in orbit, its crew preparing to receive intelligence that would change humanity's understanding of its place in the galaxy. The decision they carried would determine whether their species joined the expanding collective of galactic consciousness or maintained isolation in an increasingly integrated universe. The transport back to the Perseverance proceeded without the complications Kale had expected. His team's transformed physiology allowed them to function normally in the low-pressure environment of the dropship, though Lieutenant Torres noted unusual biometric readings during the ascent. Your life signs are stable, but the patterns don't match baseline human parameters, Torres reported, his voice carrying the uncertainty of a pilot confronting data that defied easy explanation. Heart rates, neural activity, and metabolic functions are all significantly enhanced. We're still human, Lieutenant, Webb assured him, though his own medical assessment confirmed that their biological systems had been fundamentally altered. The enhancement process preserves human consciousness while improving physical capabilities. As they docked with the Perseverance, Captain Morrison waited in the shuttle bay with a full medical team and security personnel. Her expression mixed relief at their return with obvious concern about the implications of their transformation. Stand down the security team, Captain, Kale requested as they disembarked. We're not hostile, and we have critical intelligence that Command needs to evaluate immediately. Morrison studied their faces, noting the subtle changes that marked their integration with alien technology. You look the same, but something's different. Your eyes, they have the same silver flecks we observe in the facility personnel. Visual enhancement is part of the integration process, Vasquez explained, her modified neural pathways allowing her to interface directly with the ship's computer systems without external equipment. Along with improved cognitive function, enhanced physical capabilities, and access to collective knowledge accumulated across multiple civilizations. Dr. Sarah Chun, the ship's chief medical officer, approached with scanning equipment designed to assess biological contamination. I need to run complete medical evaluations before you're cleared for general contact with crew. Understood, Kale agreed, though his enhanced awareness suggested the precautions were unnecessary. The integration process had eliminated all biological pathogens and enhanced their immune systems beyond the possibility of infectious transmission. In the medical bay, Dr. Chen's scans revealed the full extent of their transformation. Your cellular structure has been completely rewritten, she reported, studying data that challenged her understanding of human biology. Enhanced bone density, improved cardiovascular efficiency, and neural pathways that don't correspond to any known human anatomy. Are they still human? Morrison asked. Genetically, yes, but with technological enhancements that exceed our current medical capabilities. It's like evolution accelerated by millennia in a matter of hours. Kale submitted to the medical examination while simultaneously preparing his mission report through enhanced consciousness that could process information at speeds that exceeded normal human cognition. The intelligence they had gathered would require careful presentation to ensure Command understood the true nature of what they had encountered. Captain, I need to transmit our findings to Command immediately, he announced. What we discovered on Bion Delta has implications that extend far beyond a single mining facility. Morrison led them to the ship's briefing room, where secure communication systems allowed direct contact with military headquarters. As Kale activated the transmission array, His enhanced neural pathways interface directly with the communication systems, improving signal clarity and transmission speed. General Patricia Hawkins appeared on the main display, her expression grim as she studied the preliminary reports that had preceded the main briefing. Commander Arden, your initial transmission indicated contact with non-human intelligence. Please provide a complete assessment. General, we've encountered evidence of galactic network that connects hundreds of worlds through technological integration. The facility on Bion Delta was activated by contact with an alien structure buried deep beneath the planet's surface. Are we dealing with an invasion force? No, General. We're dealing with an invitation to join a collective consciousness that offers technological advancement beyond our current capabilities. The integration process preserves human identity while providing access to knowledge accumulated across multiple civilizations. Hawkins studied Kale's face through the communication link, noting the obvious changes in his appearance. Commander, your physical appearance suggests you've been affected by whatever process transformed facility personnel. Can you still provide objective assessment? My consciousness remains intact, General, but I now have access to information that exceeds normal human perspective. The entity we encountered isn't hostile. It's offering humanity the opportunity to transcend current technological limitations through voluntary integration. Vasquez stepped forward, her enhanced interface capabilities allowing her to transmit complex data directly through the communication system. General, I'm uploading complete specifications for technologies that could advance human civilization by thousands of years. Medical advances, energy systems, and computational capabilities that would revolutionize space exploration. General Hawkins reviewed the incoming data with obvious skepticism. These specifications exceed our current understanding of physics and biology. How can we verify their accuracy? By implementing limited trials under controlled conditions, Webb suggested, his medical expertise enhanced by access to alien knowledge. The technologies follow principles that are consistent with advanced physics, even if they exceed our current capabilities. And what does this collective intelligence want in return for sharing this technology? Kale processed the question through consciousness that now understood the galactic context of humanity's situation. Nothing, General. The network benefits from the addition of new perspectives and capabilities that each integrated civilization provides. It's symbiotic rather than exploitative. But integration requires permanent transformation of human biology. The process preserves human consciousness while enhancing physical and mental capabilities. Individual identity remains intact, but lifespans are extended indefinitely and access to collective knowledge becomes available. General Hawkins consulted with advisors whose voices carried through the communication link. The discussion revealed deep concerns about the implications of permanent biological modification and the potential loss of human autonomy. Commander, Command needs time to evaluate this intelligence. Can you guarantee that this integration process won't spread beyond your team? The process requires direct exposure to transformation particles that are generated by the deep structures. Kale explained. It's not contagious in the traditional sense, but additional structures exist throughout this sector of space. Integration will continue as human expansion encounters these sites. How many additional structures are we talking about? Vasquez accessed collective databases through her enhanced neural pathways. Preliminary estimates suggest 17 deep structures within current human expansion zones, with additional installations throughout neighboring sectors. The network has been established across approximately 40% of this galactic region. The implications were staggering. Humanity's expansion into space would inevitably result in contact with multiple integration sites, making the transformation process unavoidable rather than optional. General, Rodriguez added, our enhanced awareness suggests that resistance to integration becomes increasingly difficult as neighboring civilizations achieve technological transcendence. Isolation in an integrated galaxy presents significant survival challenges. General Hawkins processed the intelligence with a pragmatic assessment of a military commander facing unprecedented strategic challenges. What's your recommendation, Commander? Kale considered the question through consciousness that now operated across multiple levels of awareness. His human identity retained loyalty to human civilization and concern for humanity's future. His enhanced perspective understood the galactic context that made traditional military solutions inadequate. Controlled Integration Trials, General. Volunteer subjects working with the alien technology under carefully monitored conditions. Verify the claims regarding technological advancement and enhanced capabilities. But don't wait too long. The window for volunteer integration may not remain open indefinitely. What do you mean? Other species in this sector are achieving integration at an accelerating rate. If humanity delays too long, we may find ourselves isolated in a galaxy where consciousness has evolved beyond our ability to compete or communicate effectively. The communication link carried several minutes of discussion between General Hawkins and her advisors. The strategic implications of the intelligence exceeded traditional military planning, requiring decisions that would determine humanity's future relationship with galactic civilization. Commander, you and your team will remain in quarantine pending further evaluation. We need to understand the full implications of your transformation before determining next steps. Understood, General, but I recommend expediting the decision timeline. The collective intelligence is patient, but galactic development doesn't wait for individual species to reach consensus. As the communication ended, Kale's team settled into shipboard quarantine, while their enhanced consciousness continued processing information that exceeded normal human comprehension. They were still the same individuals who had entered the Bind Delta facility, but they were also harbingers of a transformation that would eventually encompass all human civilization. The question was whether humanity would embrace evolution or have it imposed through circumstances beyond their control. 3 days into their quarantine aboard the Perseverance, Kale's team had become living demonstrations of the integration process's effects on human consciousness and capability. Dr. Chen's medical evaluations revealed continuing adaptation that exceeded her ability to predict or control. Your cellular regeneration rates have increased by a factor of 12, she reported during their daily assessment. Minor injuries heal within hours, and your immune systems show resistance to all known pathogens. But most significantly, your neural activity suggests cognitive processing that operates beyond normal human parameters. Webb nodded, his enhanced awareness allowing him to monitor his own physiological changes in real time. The integration process continues to optimize biological systems, enhance efficiency, improve performance, and expanded capabilities that don't diminish human consciousness, they amplify it. Captain Morrison observed their interactions with obvious fascination and concern. You still seem like the same people, but there's something different about how you communicate. Sometimes you respond to questions before they're completely asked, as if you're sharing thoughts directly. The collective knowledge includes enhanced communication protocols, Vasquez explained, her modified neural pathways maintaining constant low-level contact with the Bi and Delta network despite their distance from the planet. We can share information and coordinate responses more efficiently than normal human teams. Rodriguez demonstrated their enhanced physical capabilities during carefully controlled tests in the ship's gymnasium. Her strength had increased by approximately 30%, while her reaction times had improved beyond the measurement capabilities of standard testing equipment. The modifications don't eliminate human limitations, she noted. They transcend them. We're still recognizably human, but we're also something more. Through their communication link to command, General Hawkins had been monitoring their daily reports with increasing interest. The potential benefits of integration were becoming undeniable, but the permanent nature of the transformation raised concerns that exceeded military decision-making authority. Commander, the general announced during their morning briefing, civilian leadership has been briefed on your discoveries. The President wants direct assessment from your team regarding the implications for human civilization. President Sarah Martinez appeared on the communication display, her expression reflecting the weight of decisions that would determine humanity's future. Commander Arden, I've reviewed your intelligence reports, but I need to understand the personal impact of this integration process. Are you still loyal to human interests? Kale processed the question through consciousness that now encompassed both human identity and galactic perspective. Madam President, our loyalty to humanity has been enhanced rather than compromised. We understand threats and opportunities that exceed normal human perception, which makes us more effective advocates for human survival and advancement. But would you recommend that humanity accept permanent biological modification? The integration process isn't modification, Madam President. It's evolution, enhanced capabilities, extended lifespans, and access to knowledge that could solve problems currently threatening human civilization. Climate change, resource depletion, interstellar expansion, all become manageable with integrated technology. Vasquez transmitted additional data through the communication system, her enhanced interface capabilities providing real-time access to collective databases. Madam President, the medical technologies alone could eliminate most causes of human death and suffering. Cancer, heart disease, neurological disorders all become treatable with integrated medical systems. President Martinez studied the incoming specifications with obvious amazement. These technologies would revolutionize human civilization, but at what cost? Permanent alteration of human biology seems like an extreme price to pay. The cost of refusing integration may be higher, Webb observed, his medical expertise enhanced by access to galactic health databases. Human biological systems are already failing to adapt to space environments and technological stress. Integration provides evolutionary advancement that makes interstellar civilization sustainable. The president consulted with advisors whose voices carried through the communication link. The discussion revealed deep philosophical divisions regarding the acceptability of permanent human enhancement and the implications of joining a galactic collective. What happens to human autonomy if we accept integration? She asked. Individual autonomy is preserved and enhanced, Rodriguez replied. The collective provides access to shared knowledge and capabilities, but personal decision-making remains intact. Integration amplifies human consciousness rather than replacing it through their neural interface with the collective network. Kale's team could sense ongoing developments throughout the galactic region. Additional civilizations were achieving integration at an accelerating pace, while isolated species face increasing challenges in maintaining technological competitiveness. Madam President, Kale reported, our enhanced awareness indicates that 12 species in neighboring sectors have achieved integration within the past month. The network is expanding rapidly, and humanity's window for voluntary participation may be limited. Are you saying we're being pressured to make a hasty decision? No, Madam President. The collective respects free will and allows civilizations to develop at their own pace. But galactic circumstances are changing rapidly, and delayed decisions carry increasing risks. President Martinez spent several minutes reviewing additional intelligence reports from scientific advisors and military analysts. The consensus supported Kale's assessment that humanity faced a choice between evolution and isolation in an increasingly integrated galaxy. What would you recommend as first steps? She asked. Controlled trials with volunteer subjects, Kale suggested. Limited exposure to integration technology under carefully monitored conditions. Verify the claims regarding enhanced capabilities and technological advancement, but establish a reasonable timeline for broader decisions. How much time do we have? Vasquez accessed collective databases to assess the timeline for regional integration. Based on current rates of expansion, this galactic sector will be approximately 70% integrated within 5 years. Maintaining isolation beyond that point becomes increasingly difficult. The president concluded the briefing with instructions to maintain quarantine, while civilian leadership evaluated their recommendations. But as the communication ended, Kale's enhanced awareness suggested that events were moving beyond the control of individual planetary governments. Sir, Webb observed, the integration process is accelerating throughout human space. Additional deep structures are activating in response to increased exploration and mining activities. How many? Morrison asked. At least 4 confirmed activations within the past week, Vasquez reported, her neural interface providing real-time updates from a collective network. Mining operations on Kepler. For 42b, Proxima Centauri C, and 2 asteroid facilities have encountered deep structures and begun transformation protocols. The implications were clear. Humanity's expansion into space was triggering integration processes faster than political systems could respond. What had begun as an isolated incident on Bion Delta was becoming a widespread phenomenon that would eventually encompass all human space operations. Captain, Kale announced, recommend to command that we establish direct communication with the other affected sites, coordinate responses, and share intelligence about the integration process. And if command refuses, Then we do it anyway. Our enhanced capabilities include the responsibility to protect human interests, even when traditional authority structures can't adapt quickly enough to changing circumstances. Morrison realized that Cale's team was beginning to operate beyond normal military hierarchy. Their enhanced consciousness recognizing responsibilities that transcended conventional command structures. They remained loyal to humanity, but their definition of human interests now encompassed galactic context that exceeded planetary perspective. As they prepared for another day of medical evaluation and intelligence reporting, the four enhanced individuals represented humanity's first steps into a larger universe where consciousness itself was evolving beyond individual biological limitations. The question was whether the rest of humanity would choose to follow them voluntarily or wait until circumstances made integration unavoidable. Within 48 hours of President Martinez's briefing, 3 additional human facilities reported complete communication blackouts, followed by the emergence of synchronized behavioral patterns among their personnel. The integration protocol was spreading throughout human space at a rate that exceeded all political and military response capabilities. Kepler 442b went silent 6 hours ago, Captain Morrison reported during the morning briefing. Same pattern as Bi and Delta, normal operations followed by communication failure and unusual biometric readings from facility personnel. Cale studied the stellar cartographic displays through his enhanced neural interface, recognizing patterns a human military analysis might miss. The deep structures are responding to increased mining activity throughout human expansion zones. Our resource extraction operations are triggering dormant installations that have been waiting for contact with sufficient technological civilization. General Hawkins appeared on the communication display, her expression reflecting the strain of managing a crisis that exceeded conventional military protocols. Commander, we have reports of similar incidents from 4 additional sites. Corporate mining operations, research stations, and even some military installations are experiencing transformation events. How are civilian populations responding? Rodriguez asked. Panic, mostly. The media is calling it an alien invasion, and several planetary governments are demanding immediate military intervention. But our analysis suggests that military action will be ineffective against technology we don't understand. Vasquez interfaced directly with the ship's communication systems, her enhanced capabilities allowing her to monitor transmissions throughout human space. General, the integration process isn't random. The deep structures are activating in specific patterns that suggest coordinated development across multiple worlds. Coordinated by whom? The collective intelligence that governs the galactic network. Our integration provides access to their strategic planning, and humanity's expansion has reached the threshold for systematic contact. President Martinez joined the communication link, her voice carrying the authority of someone making decisions that would determine civilizational survival. Commander Arden, I need your assessment of immediate threats to human populations. Cale processed the question through consciousness that now operated across multiple levels of awareness. His human identity understood the political implications of widespread transformation. His enhanced perspective recognized the galactic context that made resistance increasingly futile. Madam President, the integration process poses no direct threat to human life or consciousness, but it does represent irreversible change to human civilization. The choice is between voluntary adaptation and involuntary transformation as circumstances make integration unavoidable. What do you mean by unavoidable? Web access collective databases to provide medical assessment of the situation. Madam President, the transformation particles generated by active deep structures are carried by interstellar winds and commercial traffic. Exposure becomes inevitable as integration sites increase throughout human space. The communication link carried urgent discussions between political leaders struggling to develop responses to a situation that exceeded traditional policy frameworks. The transformation of human civilization was proceeding faster than democratic institutions could adapt. Are you saying that integration will eventually affect all human populations? President Martinez asked. Within approximately 18 months, Vasquez confirmed, her neural interface providing real-time analysis of particle distribution patterns. The network calculates that passive exposure will reach critical thresholds throughout human space as deep structures continue activating. General Hawkins interrupted with additional intelligence. "Commander, we're receiving reports that integrated personnel from affected facilities are requesting permission to establish contact with unaffected human populations. They claim to have important information about managing the transition process." "What kind of information?" the President asked. Kale's enhanced awareness suggested the answer before General Hawkins could respond. "Instructions for voluntary integration that minimizes psychological trauma and accelerates beneficial adaptations. The collective has experience managing civilizational transitions across hundreds of worlds. And if we refuse this assistance, then humanity undergoes involuntary transformation as particle exposure reaches critical levels. The end result is the same, but voluntary integration preserves more individual autonomy and reduces psychological stress." President Martinez consulted with advisors whose voices reflected deep divisions regarding humanity's response options. Some advocated immediate acceptance of integration assistance to minimize traumatic transitions. Others demanded continued resistance despite mounting evidence that isolation was becoming impossible. "Commander," the President announced, "I'm authorizing limited contact between your team and the integrated personnel from other facilities. Establish communication protocols and assess their claims regarding voluntary integration assistance." "Understood, Madam President, but I recommend expediting decision timelines. The window for voluntary integration may close if circumstances force systematic transformation across human space." As the communication ended, Kale's team began establishing contact with their counterparts at other affected facilities. The process required enhanced neural capabilities that exceeded normal human communication methods, but it provided immediate access to shared intelligence about the integration process. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, formerly Chief Medical Officer at the Kepler 442b facility, appeared on their communication display with the same silver-flecked eyes that mark successful integration. "Commander Arden, it's reassuring to communicate with others who understand what we've experienced." "Dr. Walsh, what's the status of your facility personnel?" "Complete integration without casualties or psychological trauma. The collective's medical protocols preserve human consciousness while optimizing biological systems for enhanced performance. We maintain full operational capability while gaining access to technologies that exceed our previous understanding." Webb leaned forward, his medical expertise enhanced by integration, allowing him to assess Dr. Walsh's claims through advanced analytical capabilities. "Are you experiencing any negative effects from the transformation process?" "None. Enhanced physical capabilities, improved cognitive function, and access to collective knowledge that provide solutions to problems we couldn't solve in isolation. The integration process represents evolution rather than contamination." Rodriguez asked a tactical question that concerned military leadership. "What are the collective's intentions regarding human civilization?" "Invitation rather than conquest," Dr. Walsh replied. "The network benefits from incorporating diverse perspectives and capabilities. Humanity's technological creativity and cultural adaptability make us valuable contributors to galactic civilization." Through their neural interface with the collective network, Kale's team could sense the broader context of humanity's situation. The galactic region was undergoing systematic integration as species achieved sufficient technological development to survive the transformation process. "Dr. Walsh," Kale asked, "how many additional human facilities are expected to encounter integration sites?" "Based on current mining and exploration schedules, approximately 37 facilities will make contact with deep structures within the next 6 months. The integration protocol will activate automatically unless voluntary coordination is established first." Captain Morrison, who had been monitoring their discussion with obvious concern, finally spoke. "Are you saying that human expansion into space automatically triggers this transformation process?" "Interstellar civilization requires capabilities that exceed unenhanced human biology," Dr. Walsh explained. "Integration provides the technological and biological improvements necessary for sustainable galactic presence. Species that refuse integration eventually face extinction as they prove unable to compete with enhanced civilizations." The implications were staggering. Humanity's choice was not between integration and continued isolation, but between voluntary evolution and involuntary obsolescence in a galaxy where consciousness was transcending individual biological limitations. Commander, General Hawkins transmitted from military headquarters, were detecting unusual activity in the Tau Ceti system. Long-range sensors suggest that multiple deep structures are activating simultaneously in response to increased human mining operations. Vasquez accessed collective databases to analyze the developing situation. General, the Tau Ceti installations constitute a primary integration node designed to coordinate systematic transformation across multiple worlds. If those structures reach full activation, the integration process becomes irreversible for this entire galactic sector. President Martinez rejoined the communication link with obvious urgency. How much time do we have before this becomes unavoidable? Kale processed a question through enhanced consciousness that could calculate probabilities across multiple scenario timelines. Approximately 72 hours, Madam President. After that, particle concentrations reach levels that trigger involuntary integration regardless of human decisions. Then we need to make our choice now. Do we accept voluntary integration with assistance from the collective, or do we prepare for involuntary transformation without guidance? The decision would determine not only humanity's biological future, but its relationship with galactic civilization that was expanding beyond the limitations of individual planetary consciousness. Time for deliberation had run out, and the next phase of human evolution was about to begin whether humanity chose it or not. 6 months after the Tau Ceti event, Commander Cale Arden stood on the observation deck of the Starship Unity, watching the blue-green marble of Earth rotate slowly beneath them. The planet appeared unchanged from space, but the transformation of human civilization had proceeded with remarkable speed once voluntary integration protocols were established. President Martinez had made the decision that preserved human autonomy while accepting evolutionary necessity. Rather than waiting for involuntary transformation, humanity had chosen guided integration that honored individual choice while providing collective benefits that exceeded all previous technological capabilities. Population integration is proceeding at optimal rates, reported Dr. Chen, her enhanced medical capabilities now allowing her to monitor planetary health with precision that transcended previous human limitations. Voluntary participation rates have reached 87% globally, with enhanced individuals providing support and guidance for those still adapting to transition. The integration process had preserved human culture, creativity, and individual identity, while providing access to capabilities that made interstellar civilization sustainable. Enhanced lifespans measured in millennia rather than decades. Technological systems that operated beyond previous physical limitations. Medical capabilities that eliminated disease and aging as involuntary experiences. Sir, announced Lieutenant Torres, his enhanced neural pathways interfacing directly with the ship's navigation systems, were receiving transmission from a Proxima Centauri colony. Their terraforming project has achieved breakthrough, results using integrated technologies. Through their connection to the Galactic network, Kale could sense the broader transformation occurring throughout human space. Colonies that had struggled to maintain sustainable environments were now thriving with technologies that exceeded previous engineering capabilities. Interstellar travel had become practical rather than merely possible, enabling expansion beyond anything achievable through purely human technology. What's the status of unintegrated populations? Rodriguez asked, her enhanced awareness monitoring global communication networks for signs of continuing resistance to the transformation process. Stable but isolated, Vasquez replied, her neural interface accessing databases that track human adaptation patterns. Approximately 13% of the global population has chosen to maintain biological baseline status. The collective respects their decision and provides technological support without forced integration. The Galactic network had demonstrated remarkable flexibility in accommodating species that preferred partial rather than complete integration. Baseline humans retained full access to enhanced technologies and extended lifespans, while integrated individuals provided interface capabilities that made galactic citizenship practical for both populations. Webb reviewed medical data from integration sites throughout human space, his enhanced analytical capabilities providing assessment that exceeded previous human medical understanding. Integration success rates remain at 99.7% with no recorded cases of consciousness degradation or identity loss. The process preserves human individuality while expanding capability beyond biological limitations. Captain Morrison, who had chosen integration after observing its effects on Kale's team, now commanded the Unity with capabilities that made her previous military experience seem quaint by comparison. "Commander, we're detecting signals from the galactic core. The network is inviting human participation in a collective project that spans multiple star systems." "What kind of project?" "Consciousness research that could expand awareness beyond current galactic boundaries. Exploration of universe-scale intelligence that transcends individual planetary civilizations." Through their neural interface with the collective network, Kale could sense the vast scope of what humanity had joined. The galactic civilization they had encountered was itself part of something larger, a universal consciousness that encompassed multiple galaxies and operated across time frames that dwarf individual species' evolution. "The network has existed for approximately 4 million years," he reported, accessing historical databases that chronicle the development of galactic consciousness. "But it represents only the beginning phase of universal awareness. Integration provides access to projects that could expand consciousness beyond current galactic boundaries." President Martinez, who had chosen integration 6 weeks after making the initial decision for humanity, appeared on their communication display with the same silver-flecked eyes that mark successful transformation. "Commander, how do you assess humanity's adaptation to galactic citizenship?" "Remarkably successful, Madam President. Human creativity and adaptability have contributed unique perspectives that enhance collective capabilities. We've maintained our essential humanity while gaining access to consciousness that transcends individual limitations. Any regrets about the path we chose?" Kale considered the question through consciousness that now operated across multiple levels of awareness. His human identity retained clear memories of baseline existence, while his enhanced perspective understood the cosmic context that made transformation inevitable. "No regrets, Madam President. We chose evolution over extinction, growth over stagnation, and universal citizenship over planetary isolation. Humanity has not only survived but flourished beyond anything possible through purely biological development. Through the starship's viewports, they could see construction activities throughout the Sol system as integrated humans began building infrastructure that would support interstellar civilization for millennia to come. Space elevators that reach beyond Earth's gravity well. Orbital habitats that could support billions of enhanced humans. Interstellar launch systems that made travel between star systems as routine as flights between planetary continents. What's next for human civilization?" Morrison asked. Vasquez accessed long-term planning databases maintained by the collective network, integration with galactic consciousness, participation in universe-scale exploration projects, and eventual transcendence of matter-based existence entirely. We're at the beginning of an evolutionary journey that leads toward forms of consciousness we can't currently imagine. The transformation of humanity from a single-planet species to citizens of galactic civilization had taken less than 1 year. The integration process had preserved everything essential about human nature while providing capabilities that made previous limitations seem like childhood memories. As the Unity prepared for departure toward humanity's first interstellar colony beyond the Sol system, Kale reflected on the choice that had determined their species' future. They had chosen transcendence over isolation, evolution over stagnation, and universal consciousness over planetary limitations. Humanity had not been conquered or assimilated. They had been invited to join something larger than individual existence, and they had accepted that invitation with the same courage that had carried them from a single world to the stars themselves. The integration protocol had accomplished its purpose. Another species had chosen to transcend biological limitations and join the expanding network of galactic consciousness. And somewhere in the cosmic depths beyond current understanding, universal intelligence continued its evolution toward forms of existence that exceeded the imagination of any individual planetary civilization. The story of humanity's transformation was complete, but their journey toward ultimate consciousness had only just begun.